Hello, Mitch Miller. Done some courtesy calls, so I thought I should probably do it for Emma Watson. Uh, kind of want to talk about. I want to get personal as to me because I don't really know anything about you. I've never really been obsessed with you, and until 11 months ago, I didn't really think about some of the concepts I projected out there without detailing knowledge that I honestly believe from my heart that you have, but it's the most complicated thing to explain ever, and so well, you just gotta kind of play dumb, and it sucks, but I'm gonna go into my personal things, and but I do want to talk about um, being like a sex symbol and what that means. Um, because I know that you're reaching out to other nations and more conservative belief systems, and I believe there are many ways to transition, empower women, I guess, within those belief systems that uh, don't necessarily embrace the American or British or European idea of sex, or the sex symbol. So I guess that's why I kind of said what I said about kind of breaking off and just hanging loose for a while before getting real heavy. Because in this world, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of ways to. I don't want to go into that. Anyway, I do want to get personal about me, and but first I'll talk. I did kind of settle on an agenda, or a possible itinerary. Like I said, I think we should hang out and not label it, and do some writing and just be in hotel rooms or whatever, and I can show you some things, and I could go walk around and come up with my stories and fairy tales, and then maybe I could come back, and if you have to have bodyguards or whatever, I can talk to them, and then I can walk you around and tell you a story, and maybe someday you can tell other women that story, or go to those places and remember those things, because we're old enough to remember memory, and we're not going to log our whole schedule away on an iPhone so that we lose our concept of even being able to remember what we're going to do tomorrow at 5 o'clock. But those are just ideas I have. I'm a little low on funds. I realize you might have some kind of money from all of those acting gigs you had. I don't know if you'd float a low life like me's alone, so that I could fly to Egypt and do a lecture after a couple months of hanging out with me. And in the anonymous novel, I threw out some conspiracy theories, not really founded in anything, and I don't really believe them. I think it's a scary world if you believe everything I conjecture in there, and I don't believe that we're there on the technology, but I've developed other things that I kind of want to put into a small digital video on my way to Copenhagen and hopefully the UK to meet you. But I don't even know if you want to meet me. So I said some stuff about Iceland, and I said some stuff about Haiti, and totally made up just things I watched in the media and then went with it. Do I think now in the year 2016 could I watch a lot of media, or digest a lot of media, and probably throw out interesting theories, maybe actual fact? strangely enough, I kind of do believe that, and it's actually really not a comfortable situation that I'm in. But back then, I don't believe those things, so I would openly and honestly apologize to the people of Iceland and Haiti for mentioning them in those conspiracy theories. And I do want to go to Haiti, and I have a lot of ideas and initiatives for there, and inspect the UN headquarters there, and maybe be able to use that as a neutral location for a lot of what I was proposing earlier. So yeah, maybe you could float me alone, hang out, and then I'll just fly off and go some places where you probably maybe want to go but shouldn't right now, and then maybe we could hang out again sometime. I don't know. Or maybe you meet some guy. I mean, you might be with a guy right now. I don't even know. But eventually, maybe you meet some guy and you want to have some children, and that'd be cool. Maybe you can tell the children the stories I told you. What I worry about, and what I want to caution you about, and potentially anybody like you, is when you sit on the cusp, because you were a child star, so you always kind of knew that you were going to be in this industry, but when you sit on the cusp of either the hypothetical knowledge that you might be popular in some kind of artistic regard, or a hypothetical leader in some other regard, in the year 2015 or 2016, and then sorry, it's kind of spooky because I found the square chair down here, and so now I look like I'm a floating head, like whatever. So when you kind of think that way, and it's like you don't really see the path on how it's going to happen, and me sitting in Aalborg isolated, I still don't see the path on how it's going to happen, but I know that this is probably all eventually going to get out, and I think it's interesting, and someone's going to do something with it. But back to celebrities, and you used to have all these handlers and agents and people kind of following you around. It was this kind of fairy tale where people were your handlers or whatever, and they were kind of your friends, but kind of people you met through the industry. And I don't know if that's still the situation anymore because of technology, and you're able to do a lot more on your own. And some of those handlers weren't so good, but they talked to people and said, this guy's they're eccentric, or they need some space, or they need to breathe right now, or they need to be alone, or whatever. But they made sure you were fed and clothed, and you always had your makeup on right, and took a shower at the right time, and no matter what time zone you were in, you took your aspirin before you went to bed, or whatever. So with these underground artists and the way that pop culture is going, speaking to my personal effects, it's well known that in United States culture, corporations have begun programs to create celebrities to promote their products. It's a common marketing strategy. So with this technology and the ability for corporations to spy on people and monitor people and see who the next budding artist or whatever is going to be, and manipulate them into somehow promoting products. That's a tangent, but do you someday wake up and realize that you've been married for 7 years, you don't have any children, you're an undersexed 30-year-old married person, which isn't uncommon for people with children, I think. You're well taken care of and well fed, and you ponder yourself, did I marry my fan club? Is this person just like my fan club that just wants to take care of me and feed me and make sure I'm taken care of, but is kind of asexual and doesn't want to, is very neutral and just kind of wants to cage you in a place and acquire your assets that might be worth value and somewhere down the line, and it's weird and it's scary, and I think I had a taste of it, but I can only imagine someone that's actually worth millions of dollars and actually rich. I hope you don't end up that way, and I'm not trying to deter you from finding the person that you is so interesting that you fall in love and have children with them, or adopt children with them, or whatever happens. I'm speaking from my personal experiences, and to speak to other celebrities that I've talked to that marry other celebrities, and a lot of them date each other, and so they are aware of the way that industry works, and that they were raised in their own way and told their stories and know each other. But to that regard, it's the same kind of concept as those people are real people, but with the weird concepts, not weird concepts, the real concepts that I pose forward. Are you married to a corporation? Probably every celebrity is, if they're not married to another entertainer. I hate to say it, but at least every American celebrity. So anyway, this is a courtesy call, and that's my itinerary. I just need fare to get to Egypt. I don't really know the nuts and bolts of renting a conference venue, but I do have some interesting interviews I could speak about why I want to go to Egypt. I have lots of interesting interviews if anybody bothered to take the time to talk to me, but anyway, I'm going to pause this for one more second. This is a long one. For what it's worth to you and to any celebrity or any important person that I'm not obsessed with you, Emma. I never have been, and I just know who you are, and I saw those movies, and I think about, I try to empathize with people, and then I have a bunch of weird physics theories, but I'm not obsessed with you, and when you say I'm done, or it's over, or goodbye, I'm not going to obsess over you or any of those people. So for what it's worth, I just leave, and you may never see me again. Maybe run into each other again. I don't know. Because I'm just a poor boy, and nobody loves me, and nothing really matters to me.